they do share a smoochy smooch up in Soul Ties, the sexy Soul Ties where the smooching happens. Hi, my name is Lacey and welcome to my recaps of episodes 31 and 32 of Love Island USA. We have the Heart Race Challenge coming up and we have a recoupling. Ooh. And Biscuit is going to sleep through the whole thing. If you like my recaps, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know my next one is live. And here we are, getting right into episode 31. While Cassie is on her date with Scott, Leo is stressing and wondering where she is. And Bergie tells Imani back at the villa that he is focusing on Taylor and he wants to stick it out with her for the rest of the time. When Cass gets back from her date, everybody's wondering where she was and she's acting super shady, but she pulls Imani right away and tells Imani that she went on a date, but now it's Imani's turn. And Cassie takes Imani to the date with Scott. And meanwhile, Carmen's like, Cassandra, what are you doing? Cassandra, what are you doing? Cassandra, tell me what's happening. On Scott and Imani's date, Scott says he likes what he's seeing. Imani's super giggly and they seem to be hitting it off. A couple other people, recappers, said that they didn't remember Imani being a care nurse for adults with special needs, and I have that in my notes from when she first arrived, so it is true. She did say this, and this was her job from the beginning. I promise. She doesn't seem to recognize Scott, but they are hitting it off, and I'm liking them together. At the villa, Carmen and Cassie finally spills the beans to Carmen and tells her, oh, there was a boy, we went on a date. It was Scott, and she's like, oh my God, Scott's stunning. So those two know who he is. And then Leo comes over and is like, hey, where were you, Cassie? And Cassie's like, I was on a date. And he says, well, can I ask you on a date? And so he takes her to his little beach area where they have some cocktails, and he tells Cassie that he misses her, he wants to be with her, he screwed up, and it's just her from now on. Cassie, though, good girl, I'm so proud of you, Cassie. She says no, we're just friends, and I am cutting off that romantic side of things with you because I don't want to get hurt again. Fair enough. At that point, Imani and Scott come back from their date and they introduce Scott to the villa. Scott talks to everybody around the bonfire and then they split up into the guys and the girls, and Scott talks to the guys and the girls are gabbing about Scott. Hannah, Taylor, and Carmen are closed off, but everybody else is open. And Bergie is kind of excited to hear that Taylor is closed off because he didn't know that. And Imani also says that Scott has big dick energy. Cassie tells the girls that she said no to Leo, and they are all proud of her, and she's proud of herself. Scott, as a bombshell, is making the rounds and talking to the single ladies. So he talks to Johnny first, and Johnny is talking about how she misses art. She has an artsy family, and they are flirty as fuck, and she's very, very giggly, and I kind of like them together. And she's melty and nervous, and I like them together. Taylor and Bergie touch base, and Bergie's happy that she's closed off, and now he is too, so they're ready to ride this out till the end. Meanwhile, Destiny comes out of being sick, and to be honest, I didn't notice she was gone. Unless Destiny's fighting with somebody, I don't remember that she's there. But in the morning, Destiny comes out and she looks like she was hurt or she had something on her neck and she was kind of like, ugh. So hopefully she's feeling better. I don't know what was wrong with her, whether she was sick or hurt herself, but she's back and everybody tells her about Scott. And so she's like, ooh, new meat. Leo pulls Cassie and he tries again, this time reading her a poem. But thankfully she says, no, you're not taking no for an answer. Romance is done. We're just friends now. And he's still a little pushy and I kind of don't like it, but I think she also kind of likes the attention and likes making him work for it. So she's going to hold on to that as long as possible, I think. We'll see. But she did just walk away and not give in to Leo's temptation. Good girl, Cassie. Zay and Destiny. Zay tries to have a conversation with Destiny. He tries to pull her and she's like, no, I'm not ready to talk to you. And he's like, I just want to talk to other people. And she's like, I'm not talking to you. And he's like, please, I just want to talk to other people. And she's like, I'm not listening. You know, a mature conversation. Then Destiny talks to Scott and Scott's like, hey, are you open? Like, what's your situation? And she's like, oh no, we are done. Me and Zay are donezo. But they never actually had a conversation about it. I guess it's just assumed. They're very antagonistic toward each other. Meanwhile, Cassie and Johnny are having a little flirt on the couch next to Imani, who's just filing her nails. But they're getting a little flirt on, and so they decide to have an actual conversation about, is this something, or is this just kind of innocent fun? So they have a conversation up in Soul Ties, and they are both like, yeah, you know, I'm kind of into you. This isn't just a joke. Johnny says in her confessional that she is bisexual and that she didn't tell everybody initially because she didn't want anybody to feel uncomfortable in any way, but she has been down this road before. Cassie, however, has not dated a girl before, so she's just trying to see if this is something that she wants, seeing if there's a connection, and kind of like that. But they do share a smoochy smooch up in Soul Ties, the sexy Soul Ties, where the smooching happens. And then they both start giggling and laughing because it's like, oh, we were too quiet. Oh, this is... I kind of like them together. If Cassie's serious, we'll see. Then Cassie tells Carmen about the kiss with Johnny, and Johnny tells Imani and Destiny, maybe? I don't remember. She tells somebody else, but everybody else is like, ooh, exciting stuff. Then it is time for the heart rate challenge. And unfortunately for this episode, we only get 2 people, and then the rest continue in the next episode, which I will graciously continue into so you don't have to wait. First up, we have Hannah. She is dressed as a cowgirl. She's fine. She's unremarkable in the dancing situation, but the guys seem to like it. Carmen comes out as an angel, and it looks stunning. She does some awkward sit on the guy's laps, kind of nuzzle the neck a little bit. And Kenzo is pissed. He has a mean mug the entire time while she's dancing, trying to look sexy, and he's just like... So it's like, how does one continue to be sexy when their person is mean mugging while they do it? How rude of Kenzo. I get that he was mad, but like, don't clap for your girl. Performing, especially putting yourself on the line in a stripping sort of sexy situation, that takes a lot. And she was feeling sexy, she was feeling confident, and he was just like, and he didn't even clap for her. Leo and Marco, I think she said, had to clap for her because Kenzo wasn't doing it because he was pissed that she was even touching other guys because she's his girlfriend and he wasn't raised like that. Why the fuck are you on Love Island then? And to be honest, what she did wasn't even that bad, so Kenzo can shut it. And the episode ends on kind of a cliffhanger in the middle of Hearts on Fire challenge, and with Kenzo butthurt about Carmen. And Carmen, she knows he's pissed, and she's like, now I feel like shit. I put myself on the line. I felt sexy. I felt cute. And my significant other was just butthurt the entire time. Now I feel like shit. Thanks, Kenzo. Here we are into episode 32 with the remainder of the heart rate challenge. Next up is Cassie, and she's a construction worker, and she is like getting it. She's doing a kick-ass job, and she is making everybody all like, ooh, hot and bothered. She goes down the line and skips Leo and continues on down the line, but then she pulls him for a little special dance. She pulls Leo, lays him out on the ground, and she gets on top and rides him, and she's like, this is what he would have gotten if he could have waited and not cheated on her at Casa Amor. Destiny's turn. Destiny was like a dominatrix. I thought it was a cop maybe, but it was just a dominatrix, just fine. She had a whip, and all the guys were like, whoa, no, because they think she's the most intimidating girl on the island. She tells Zay to stand up, and she gives him a little whip on the bootay, and he was like nervous about it, but everybody kind of thought it was funny. And some people said that she was more scary than sexy, which, I mean, if you got a vibe, lean into it. Imani was a postal worker, and she was on fire. She was dropping it, twerking it, and oh my gosh, she was on Kyle, like grooving all up on him while making like eyes at Scott across the way, and it was like, Me? Me? You making eyes at me? So that was hot. For my money, Imani won. Next up is Taylor, and she was a nurse, and she was okay. She went down the line and laid Bergie down on the ground and made out with him. And then it was funny because she was like, okay, now go sit down, Bergie. Like, go sit down with the boys. And he's like, oh, lay back down? And she's like, no, I don't have time. And so it was like he wanted more. And she said that she also felt a little something hard going on when she was dancing, which I'm not surprised more of them don't feel, or they do and just don't say it. Because, I mean, you're grinding up on people. I feel like you're going to feel some rods. Johnny is a firefighter, and she's grinding up on everybody. Cassie, in her confessional, is super hot for Johnny and is like, oh, I wish I was down there with the guys. I wish I was down there. She should have just sat down. For the guys, Leo goes first, and he's a baseball player. They loved it. It was like, oh, he studied. He's done this before. This is talent. This is strip talent right here. So Leo was on fire and putting a ball between Hannah's legs and lifting other people's legs up. He picked Cassie up like from the legs, so her crotch was like here, and he picked her up, and then he laid her on the ground, or no, he put her on the bench, and he like kissed her, and then she like kind of melted to the ground. So that was pretty funny. But Leo was tops. One of the best male heart rate challenges that I've seen, I think. Who's been your favorite male and or female heart rate challenge performer? I want to hear your thoughts down below. So out of all the Love Islands, have any stood out for you? Curious. Mattia is a devil, and his was very awkward and quiet and uncomfortable, but he ended up kissing Johnny on the ground. Kyle is a boxer, and I legitimately did not write down anything because it happened so quick and unremarkably. That's what she said. Marco is next, and he was a cowboy, which matches Hannah, which was cute. And he was so funny. I liked that he was wearing assless chaps. And he had on these little gold undies, and he kept squeezing his booty cheeks together like pow, 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 which was funny because he knows he can't dance. So he was like, I'm going to lean into the humor. I'm going to lean into that. And it was very successful in my humble opinion. Kenzo was a pirate, and he decided to do nothing to the other women. And he just tied up Carmen's hands above her head, I think, or down here, I can't remember, whatever. He tied up her hands and kissed her and then said, I am only here for one person's heart. And then he leaves. And Carmen clocks it and knows that he was just trying to make a point, like, oh, this is how you should have done it. And it was just kind of like icky and rude, and the other girls didn't like it, and they were just like, well, what about us? And we danced for you, you danced for us. You know, it's just give and take. It's just a fun challenge, and it shouldn't be taken too seriously. Bergie is Americana, kind of. He has an American flag and a wife beater. I was going to write redneck, but I changed it to Americana. I wasn't digging the vibe, but I liked his performance. I liked that he was more fun with it. I liked the one-liner that he said, like, oh, Carmen did something, like shoved something in his face, so now I'm going to shove my ass in your face, and he rips off his pants, and his, like, American flag speedoed butt is in Carmen's face, and I loved Bergie's. I thought it was fun. Yeah, I had fun with that one too. Zay was a doctor, and I wrote down failboat, and that is it. Scott was a pilot, and he kissed Cassie, he kissed Johnny, and then he kissed Imani on the floor, and Imani was like, I blacked out, I don't even know what just happened. And so I would put Scott with Imani, even though I liked him with Johnny when he talked to her. I would not put him with Cassie because I don't really see that at all. I see him with Johnny, or I see him with Imani. So apparently the results of the heart rate challenge, apparently Destiny rose the most heart rates because everybody was scared of her, I guess. I don't know. But Leo was turned on by Imani. Bergie was turned on by Taylor. Mattia was turned on by Imani. Marco was turned on by Hannah. Kenzo was turned on by Cassie. Scott was turned on by Johnny. And Kyle was turned on by Cassie. In terms of the girls, most everyone was turned on by Leo. Hannah, Destiny, Carmen, and Taylor were all turned on by Leo. Scott turned on Imani and Cassie. And Zay, who did nothing, he was the doctor, he turned on Johnny the most. Weird. Maybe she's scared of the doctor. Maybe she doesn't like going to the doctor's office and it was a fear thing. That's the only way I can explain it. Kenzo and Carmen have their fight after the game. He thinks she went too far, and he says, well, if you look at Hannah and what she did, and Carmen's like, but you don't trust me. Like, I get that we're boyfriend and girlfriend, but like, I didn't do anything, and we're playing the game. Are we just not supposed to participate? And so Carmen starts crying because she says that he made her feel like shit when she was up there. She was feeling confident, and then he made her feel less than and just very, very deflated. And Kenzo's like, well, you should have looked at Hannah, look at what Hannah did. And Carmen's finally like, fine, then go date Hannah. Like, what do you want from me? I would have done the same thing. She tries to leave, but he makes her sit back down, and I guess they continue their conversation. Cassie talks to Johnny, and they're talking about relationship stuff. Like, are you the more aggressive one? Are you the more submissive one? Dominant? You know, like, where do you fall in terms of relationships with women? And so basically it comes down to that they will both they be 50-50 in terms of dominant versus submissive, in terms of, I guess, wear the pants in a relationship. I don't think they're talking about sex specifically. I think they're talking about in general. And then Johnny says, you know, I want you to be sure because you've never been with a woman before. So like, Cassie needs to be sure that this is the road she wants to go down, because Johnny doesn't want to get hurt by somebody who's just on the fence, just curious, just trying it out. And yeah, Johnny just wants to protect her heart and not get too invested unless somebody's 100% into her. Kenzo and Carmen, I guess, make amends because they're fine next time I see them, and I don't care. Cassie confides in Leo that there are still feelings there. She does still have feelings for him, but she is not back, and she still refuses to let him kiss her, which, stand firm, Cassie, stand firm. Not outside of a challenge. You got this. But then just a little later, like 2 seconds later, she gives in and she lets Leo kiss her. In the morning, Johnny is talking to Mattia, and he says that he's non-drama. Okay. And it's just a boring conversation, and I don't really care. Honestly, I like Johnny with Scott, and I like Johnny with Cassie, and that's about it. Scott pulls Johnny, and they talk about her art and his family and what they would miss, what they're missing the most being away from home. Cassie tells Leo that she is exploring things with Johnny, and it asks if he has a problem with that. And Leo says, no, you're not my girlfriend, but I want you to be. And Cassie says, well, that would be nice, maybe. They kiss again. Damn it, Cassie, I was rooting for you. All right, it is time for the last recoupling of Love Island USA. This will be the couple that they are in for the remainder of the season, and there's 1 week left. The girls get to choose. We have Taylor picking Bergie, Carmen picking Kenzo, Hannah picking Marco, the normal ones. Then Destiny has a long speech, and it sounds like she's gonna eliminate herself, but then she picks Kyle. And a collective who reigns through America. Who is Kyle? He was with Imani from Casa Amor, but now he is with Destiny. So Imani feels some sort of way. She's like, didn't see that coming. So then Imani gets up, and it's her turn, and she does another long speech, and she ends up picking Zay? That's not one I had on my bingo card. With the eyes, with the humping and the eyes to Scott, I thought Imani was going to pick Scott. He's there. He's ready. I am baffled. This is such a weird season. Like, I feel like there's so many people and just like, what moments in this season of Love Island USA. What do you guys think? Tell me your thoughts below. So Imani picks Zay. We're all baffled. Now it's Cassie's turn. And Cassie gets up and talks about how she can be her authentic self, how this person makes her laugh. She could choose Leo. She could choose, there's Leo, Scott, Mattia, and then the wild card, Johnny, is in there in the mix. So I think Cassie's gonna pick Leo, sadly, but it would be cool if she picked Johnny and then the rest of the guys were out, because nobody needs Mattia and nobody, well, I like Leo, but I wish Kyle and Zay were gone instead. Those guys just take up space. Anyway, we are left on a cliffhanger as to what Cassie is going to decide at the final recoupling. I think she's going to pick Leo, and we're all going to be sad about it, but it is what it is. Then I think Johnny might pick Scott. Honestly, I could see Johnny picking either Mattia or Scott at this point, because I feel like they've been on equal playing field. She's been a little bit more giddy with Scott, so I kind of want her to pick him over Mattia, but either way, it doesn't really matter. That is it for episodes 31 and 32. We shall find out tonight who Cassie decides on at the final recoupling. Leave me a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on these 2 episodes. Who was your favorite heart rate challenge? I would say for the females, I would say Imani, and for the guys, I would say Leo was the sexiest, but I also enjoyed Marco's funness. I'll go with Leo. So Imani for the girls and Leo for the guys. Those are my tops. Who are yours? Let me know down below. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.